Okay. So we're going to take a look at E9-6. This is on page 462 of the text. What we're planning to do, we're going to work through a few depreciation calculations. The exercises are the talking points that we went through, including an example where we created the entire depreciation schedule, which included the asset's entire useful life. We won't do that too much in test form or in homework form, just because there are a lot of calculations. There's a lot of places to go wrong, and it's somewhat duplicative because if you can calculate depreciation for a couple of years, you wouldn't necessarily need to keep doing it for the entire asset's useful life. So we may be asked to do it for short-lived assets, 3 or 5 year assets, but for anything much longer than that, you're really going to just be asked for a couple of years of depreciation. So let's take a look at E9-6. We'll start with the instructions. Part A, straight line for 2015. Part B, units of activity. For 2015, assuming machine usage was 1,700 hours. And Part C, declining balance using double the straight line rate for 2015 and 2016. Alright, so that's what we're doing. Let's jump back up into the fact pattern. Rotino Company purchased a new machine on October 1st at a cost of $150,000. The company estimated that the machine will have a salvage value of $12,000. The machine is expected to be used for 10,000 working hours during its 5-year life. Okay, so let's take a look at part A. Alright, so A is straight line. Alright, so straight line looks like this. Purchase price less salvage or residual value over estimated useful life, so divided by 5. Alright. Alright, this works out to $27,600. That's our annual depreciation expense. The only other thing that we need to be concerned with here is that Rotino Company placed this in service October 1st. Alright, so we need to do a partial year calculation to get 2015 depreciation expense. Alright, we're going to take the annual depreciation times 3, what? October, November, December. Alright, and that's our calculation for this problem. It equals $6,900. Alright, so that's our response for part A. In part B, units of activity. Alright, so we will have the same, we'll start off the same. Purchase price less residual or salvage, except for this time we're dividing by the total units of activity during its useful life are 10,000. Alright, and we get $13.80. That is actually depreciation per working hour. Alright? To turn that into 2015 depreciation, we only need to take that 1380 times the 1700 depreciation, work hours used during 2015, which works out to 23,460. So that's your 2015 depreciation under units of activity. All right. For part C, declining balance using double the straight line rate. Okay.
Machine is running. To get 2015 depreciation, all we need to do is take the 1380 times 1700 hours. Alright, so 2015 depreciation under units of activity is going to be $23,460. Alright. Lastly, it asks us for the declining balance using double the straight line rate. Alright, so we know that the straight line rate for 5-year assets is 20%, because that was the example that was in our lecture. But let's go through the process of computing the straight line rate anyway, just in case we're asked to do declining balance for an asset whose useful life is something other than 5 years. All right.
Okay, our straight line rate is always going to be equal to 1 divided by the estimated useful life. For this particular asset, 1/5 or 20%. All right. Eating B, double declining balance rate is always going to be equal to 2 times straight line rate, which works out to, in this case, 40%. All right. So we're going to calculate 2015 depreciation under the double declining balance in 2016. The 2015 depreciation expense. Now, we use a different approach. So we're going to start with the purchase price times 0.40 for 40%, and this in 2015 the asset was placed in service on October 1st. So October, November, December, we've got 3 months. All right, so year 1, or I should say 2015 depreciation for this asset, $15,000. All right, under the double declining balance. 2015 depreciation expense, is going to be, and we need a beginning of the year book value. So the 150,000 less prior year depreciation of 15,000, and we'll take 40% of that. All right. All right. 54,000. So that's your depreciation expense for 2016. All right. If it asks for accumulated depreciation in 2016, it would just be the 54,000 plus the prior year depreciation of 15,000. Right. Okay, and that is all E9-6 focused on, asked for. Focused on depreciation expense. So we'll continue on into E9-7. Okay, so we're going to take a look at E9-7. All right. And let's read into the requirements of the question. Compute depreciation expense for 2015 and 2016 using straight line method, units of activity method, and the double declining balance method. And part B, assume Lincoln uses the straight line method, prepare the journal entry to record 2015 depreciation, show how the truck would be reported on the December 31st, 2015 balance sheet. All right. So that's what we're going to do. Let's jump back up into the fact pattern. Lincoln Company purchased a delivery truck for $34,000 on January 1st, 2015. The truck has an expected salvage value of $2,000 and is expected to be driven 100,000 miles over its estimated useful life of 8 years. Actual miles driven were 15,000 in 2015 and 12,000 in 2016. Okay. A1 is straight line. All right. So there are going to be some similarities to the previous problem, so we may go a little faster. For 2015, it's going to be equal to purchase price 34,000 minus 2,000 divided by 8, which is the estimated useful life. All right, and this was placed in service on January 1st. That computation gives us the depreciation expense for the year. All right, $4,000. All right. It asks for 2016, and actually I should probably be a bit more descriptive. Alright. Well, nothing has changed from, and we're using the straight line method. So in 2016, depreciation expense is still going to be the same $4,000. Alright. The problem didn't ask for it, but if it did, if it asked for accumulated depreciation, we could track that. Well, in 2015, it's going to be, that's going to be put here. gonna be $4,000, all right? In 2016, well, it's gonna be twice that. It's gonna be the 4,000 for 2015 plus the 4,000 for 2016 are $8,000. All right. The problem didn't ask for it, but I just wanted to visualize. Keep in mind, accumulated depreciation is our contra asset account, so that's just on the balance sheet. All right. We'll need that in Part B too. So we'll just leave that for now and continue on with A2. Units of activity method. All right. So we need depreciation rate. All right. So we start with $34,000 minus 2,000 divided by the 100,000 mile estimated useful life. And 32 cents depreciation per mile. All right. Depreciation expense is going to be equal to 0.32 times mileage driven during the year, which is given as 15,000. $4,800. 2016 depreciation expense is going to be equal to the same, except we're going to use 12,000 miles, which was the actual mileage given for 2016. $3,840. All right. Double declining balance method. This is an 8-year asset, so we do need to calculate the straight line rate. And then, of course, once we get that, we'll double it. So here, 1 divided by 8, which works itself out to be 125. Double it. All right, 0.25. All right, 25%. Okay. Now at this point, we can compute the 2015 double declining balance depreciation expense, which looks like this. Actually, 34,000 times 0.25. $8,500. 2016, $34,000 less accumulated depreciation times 0.35. Alright, 6375 is the double decline balance depreciation for 2016. So for part B, part B1, from the straight line method, prepare the journal entry to record 2016 depreciation. Okay, so the depreciation entry doesn't change. As a matter of fact, we're familiar with it because we've done it in Chapter 3 during the adjusting entry. Now we're just kind of getting into the nuts and bolts behind how we get to the actual number. It only asks for the straight line method because the only thing that would change from straight line to units of production to double decline balance would be the number. Alright, that's going to be depreciation expense accumulated depreciation. Alright, so that's for straight line. We will take our the 4,000 from here, and that is our depreciation. Alright, that's all B1 asks for, and you should be able to do that entry for any method because the entry doesn't change, it's just the numbers that do. B2. Show how the truck would be reported in the balance sheet, December 31st, 2015 balance sheet. Alright? So we computed accumulated depreciation for 2015 and 2016. It asked for how it would look on the balance sheet, so we're just going to do the equipment section. So equipment, less accumulated depreciation. Alright? And generally that would be shown at the equipment would be shown at purchase price, $34,000. Accumulated depreciation at the end of 2015 is just 1 year, so that's your $4,000. Alright, and you show it net. Alright, so that's how that would look on the balance sheet. Alright, of course we know that the depreciation expense would show up on the income statement. Alright. Okay, and for our last exercise that I'm going to walk you through before we move on to the some more talking points is going to be E8-9. This is change in estimate. So we talked at the end of our last set of lectures about what to do when the estimates change. We know we handle that prospectively, i.e. in the current period going forward. Let's take a look at E9-8. B9-8 change our compute revised annual depreciation. The instructions at the top of page 463 compute the revised annual depreciation on each asset in 2015. Show computation. Prepare the journal entry or entries to report depreciation on the building in 2015. Alright, so that's what we're going to do. Let's jump back down into the fact pattern. Terry Wade, the new controller of Hellerstein Company, has reviewed the expected useful life and salvage values of selected depreciable assets at the beginning of 2015. His findings are as follows. And we see the chart there at the bottom of page 462. All assets are depreciated by the straight line method. Hellerstein Company uses a calendar year in preparing annual financial statements. After discussion, management has agreed to accept Terry's proposed changes. Okay, so what we have here is a proposed change in depreciation. All right, and let's start with the building. We have cost, and he takes Terry reviews depreciation at the beginning of 2015, so changes that would be made during 2015. All right, so the first thing we want to do is get a feel for the book values for both the building and the warehouse. All right. All right. So we're going to get book value, we know that that's cost less accumulated depreciation. All right, and this is accumulated depreciation as of January 1st, 2016. All right. Building cost $800,000. Warehouse cost $100,000. $114,000 accumulated depreciation on the building and $19,000 on the warehouse. So that gives us book value as of or up through January 1st, 2016 of $686 for the building and $81,000 for the warehouse. All right. So that's always going to be your first step when you have a change in either residual or salvage value or remaining useful life. So in this schedule, we see that the new proposed useful life is an extension of 10 years on the building and a reduction of 5 years on the warehouse. So we're going from 40 to 50 years on the building. And the salvage values are also changing. All right? So in many ways, if you can calculate depreciation, you can calculate revised depreciation. The only trick here is we need remaining useful life. So we're going to take book value over its remaining useful life. Actually, before we think about useful life, let's back out salvage value. We're going to back out the new salvage value, the revised salvage value. We can give information when it takes the 26,000 and the 6,000. Alright. Alright. And here we have what we'll call revised depreciable basis. Alright. And now our next step is estimated useful life remaining. Alright. Alright. So it's determined that this building will now last 50 years, and you're 6 years in. So 50 minus 6 . 44 years left, and that's not dollars, that's just 44 years. And the warehouse, 20-year useful life. It was acquired a year later, so you're 5 years in on the warehouse. It's expected to last 20. And so 20 less 5, 15 years is the remaining useful life. And so then we just use that to calculate the new annual depreciation. So the revised annual depreciation for the building $15,000 and $5,000 for the warehouse. That's part A. Okay, part B. Part B just asks for the journal entry to record depreciation on the building. All right, so it really only asks for just the building. So that entry would look like this. Depreciation expense going to be $16,000, and actually, accumulated depreciation, building, and that's your entry. That's all it really asks for. So that's part B of that exercise. Okay, back into a few more talking points.